Parliamo di rete con i comitati imprenditoriali femminili della Camera di Commercio italiana. Grazie.
Chamber of Commerce. Thank you. Good afternoon. It is an honor to be here. I am president of the Rome Chamber of Commerce Women Entrepreneurship Committee, and it was a great honor to host in this wonderful venue this incredible summit here at the Temple of Hadrian. Today, we're going to talk about the network of the Italian Chambers of Commerce, Women Entrepreneurship Committees. Tiziana Pompei, Deputy Secretary of Union Camere. I am Deputy Secretary General of Union Camere, and for the past few years I've been coordinating the Women Entrepreneurship Committees. First of all, I wish to thank the W20, the Rome Chamber of Commerce, but most especially I wish to thank Valeria Giaccari for giving us the possibility to present our network of committees and also to provide our contribution to the most urgent policies that need to be approved. Since 1999, the Chambers of Commerce are the public institutions that, on initiative of the Ministry of Economy, have established women entrepreneurship committees. I see the participation of women representatives of trade unions. Now, we mentioned the civil society, and I really believe that the role of civil society is fundamental. Governments must make decisions, but then it is the civil society that implements change. That is why associations are so important and why our network is so important. Over the past 20 years, we've always focused on this theme, also when it was not on the government's agenda. And we focused on women, especially on women projects for women. And there are many initiatives, have to say, many proposals that our network organizes. Our network is not simply a network because it is present all over the territory, because the chambers of commerce are present everywhere in Italy, but it is a real network that develops initiatives in different regions, in different territories, as we will see in a moment. So it is also a great reservoir of ideas and proposals. So we carry out many concrete proposals, many concrete activities, as we've already heard in our roadmap. For instance, we provide training, digital training programs. We collaborate with schools and with universities. We do mentoring activities, role model activities. We are also concerned with the theme of violence against women, but also we offer our statistics, the statistics of the Chamber of Commerce, of the Chambers of Commerce. We have an observatory of women entrepreneurship that is an important point of reference for all the studies on this phenomenon. This observatory has been also essential when decisions had to be made on the recovery plan. So let me start by sharing some data with you. Unfortunately, women, as it was said, and women-led enterprises were hit hardest by the COVID crisis. And also, women-led enterprises were affected enormously. In 2020, the new women-led enterprises were at minus 4,000, whereas over the past few years, we have seen a constant growth of 3%. So this is really important. There were some sectors that were hit hardest, for instance, made in Italy, fashion, tourism, culture, entertainment, but also the manufacturing sectors. In the first quarter, however, we're seeing a change. Female-led enterprises are starting to grow by 1%, and 8% of this 1% of these new companies, of these new enterprises, are led by women below the age of 30. Let me show you some European data. the situation of European women entrepreneurs, because we are also members of a European network. We are part of an association of European Chambers of Commerce. We conducted a survey to try and understand what the impact of the crisis really was and what happened a year after the crisis, at the beginning of the crisis. Over 70% of the enterprises were not present online to sell their products and services before the health emergency. 46% started to go digital because of the pandemic. Yesterday, something quite interesting was said on the theme of going back to normality. Well, of course, this is the goal. However, with regards to innovation and the digital world, well, we have to make a huge leap forward. We do not have to go back to normal, but we have to move forward and fast. And female entrepreneurs, both Italian and European, wanted to have 4 things. First, training and support to succeed in the challenge posed by the digital world, better access to credit, training, and measures that provide a long-lasting business transformation. Because what female entrepreneurs say, is that the business model is changing and they feel not prepared on this. And in the end, internationalization from a digital perspective will also be a tool to spread made in Italy products all over the world. And therefore, we will need to stake everything on young women, because they are those who perform better. And also because they are those, as we said this morning, that fully believe in this choice. In female entrepreneurship for them is not a plan B. But digitalization does not simply mean to invest in infrastructures and training. It was said also yesterday. So not only broadband, but we need to provide, to encourage enterprises to better organize themselves. This will be important. And then we have the theme of sustainability, environmental sustainability and the green economy. Again, the theme of investment, the investment that in the green economy by women entrepreneurship. So, and this is done not only for the competitive advantage that this can give, but also because women, today's female entrepreneurs, are more focused on sustainability, environmental sustainability. So they are very aware of this approach, of this problem. This is a value, because if there's a skills gap, a skills mismatch, I mean, women can learn. Today's entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs, really care for newer generations, and this is a great value. So I would like to conclude by saying that there is a new generation of female enterprises that we can support, as we must support for a more equitable growth. However, next to funds, besides funds or funding policies, we need policies to support women locally, but also at the central level, at the national level. And so chambers of commerce and women entrepreneurship committees, together with other stakeholders, for instance, professional associations, can be an important stakeholder, not only for monitoring, but also because they can provide education, they can provide training, they can disseminate the entrepreneurial culture. Thank you, Tiziana. It is exactly so. Women entrepreneurship committees are present on the territory, and therefore they can fully understand the peculiarities of the individual territories. If you don't know them, they are actually groups of women representing both professional or entrepreneurs associations, so companies, productive activities, and so on, but also trade unions, because we also have trade union representatives, but also there are consumers associations. So I have to say that committees really have a wealth of skills because they combine employers, workers, but also consumers. So it is a very diversified team, and this is really a wealth. It is fundamental to have the possibility to dialogue with all those who belong to our society. Now, during the pandemic, as Tiziana said, we clearly said that women were strongly affected. That is why we developed to foster this network. So we started off, collaborating among different provinces, and little by little we established some laboratories of entrepreneurship. All the members of the various committees took part in these laboratories. And also by using modern technologies, we developed a technical working groups, that is, groups that focus on specific themes. Maybe they, for instance, had different skills that different people could have on specific territory. Now, I work in the field of human resources, and I followed most especially two themes. The first is orienteering and is training. As we said, it is fundamental to start from training of young women, to guide them towards the labor market. And most especially I want to highlight that there are no jobs for men or for women, because any job can be done by anyone. And also we believe that training can give more opportunities to women, and also organized initiatives for disadvantaged women. So we started some courses organized by the various committees, and for instance, immigrant women or women victims of violence. So we tried to give them training, and we tried to help them find a job, most especially during a difficult moment like this one. Another theme is the theme of STEM. Tiziana also mentions that innovation is important. We, the Rome Committee, but also other committees, organized some awards for innovation, because women, as we know, are often very creative and they want to invest in creativity. So STEM, we realized, and you know very well, that at times women, young girls, do not feel like getting involved in STEM. At times, even professors, even school teachers, even their families discourage them to study STEM disciplines. But we organize, for instance, an activity called the Scuola di STEM, in which also, thanks to regional schools, regional offices, we had the possibility to organize encounters with female role models, as not simply scientists, but also young women who have achieved success in their lives by studying STEM disciplines. So we organized these meetings, these encounters, starting from the middle school. And we, in fact, believed that it was important to start early during the schooling process. Besides these two projects, well, let me introduce Stefania Brancaccio, who is president of the Naples Committee. And I'm very happy to tell you that she was also awarded Cavaliere del Lavoro. I am very happy to say that, because you received the Order of Merit for Labor. So Stefania will tell us something more about credit. Thank you. Also, thank you for your patience to be here. I'm the president of the Naples Women Entrepreneurship Committee. I am an entrepreneur, I'm an old entrepreneur, and also I have the Order of Merit for Labor. So what I do in my presidency is to support and help women entrepreneurs. What have we seen? Well, the real problem for women entrepreneurs is access to credit. I run a company that does steel work in the south of Italy, and I have not had, and I've always had problems to access credit. My company is, well, normally was run by men, but when I noticed that the greatest difficulty of small and medium enterprises and also of micro enterprises that belong to the chambers of commerce had this difficulty of access to credit, well, we tried to focus on this problem and we promoted training courses to access credit, but we also started to lobby on our banks because we have the Golfo law, which means that in our banks we should have some specific quotas in the board of directors in which there should be women. So I appeal to those women who've entered the boards of directors of banks. So when I asked, how many women do we have in banks, and who, when they receive a request for credit, do these women know that that request come from a woman entrepreneur? Well, banks do not provide this data because we wanted to analyze whether the Golfo law was really effective. Because, of course, the law says that more women should sit on boards of directors. But we wanted to know whether women, when they sit on boards of directors, they simply become a copy of men. You know, they imitate men in their decision making. And we saw that the access to credit of women enterprises suffer from a double discrimination. First of all, because they're very small enterprises, 50% of them are laundry shops, companies that do offer beauty services. So it is as if for banks, this type of enterprises do not actually exist. And then men believe that women-led enterprises are risky. This is incredible, and the cost of the money for women-led enterprises, for instance, startups, is higher. I accompanied many women entrepreneurs as I had the possibility I accompanied many young female startuppers, and I noticed that men believe that they are where men simply told them bluntly that female companies, women-led companies, are risky. But we know that data show exactly the opposite. And this is incredible. Besides the training courses that we organize, because women alone should actually have their rights respected. We know that there are many women that have to endure this type of violence. They are denied credit, and this is absolutely terrible for us women. And then another issue, I wanted, and we're working on this theme because we are working on this idea that is to introduce in companies, the bank should provide a product, and we are preparing this for cooperative banks, a product that, if given to enterprises, shows that those companies that hire more women, women-led enterprises with a strong feminine presence, well, by studying this aggregated data, they received some sort of benefits. This is what we wanted to say, because, earlier I spoke to Minister Carfagna, and I have to say that our women in the South, they suffer from three types of gap: gender gap, because they're women; a generational gap, because they're young; and a geographical gap, because they live in the south. So our women, they are discriminated 3 times compared to other women. Thank you, Stefania, for this wonderful presentation. In fact, we have to uproot these differences and also stereotypes. So what we have managed to do as a network of committees is also to show that women can work as a network, can do teamwork, can act as a team among themselves, but also to network with others. In fact, the committee networks also collaborated with universities, international centers. For instance, there is a project called Stimiamoci to support, to help women study STEM themes. And this project was both national and international. In fact, we also involved embassies, consulates, and so on. And so we managed to broaden this network also to the outside world, let's say, not only to Italy. Now, let us hear Cristina Tomiaci. She is president of the Turin Chamber of Commerce Women Entrepreneurship Committee. So there she is. I can see her. I can see she's online. And she will follow us. She's following us from Turin. And I think that she will have her presentation in English. So welcome, Cristina.
If you are Italian, if you are from Turin, but yes, we are here and we would like to hear from you.
Thank you. Thank you, Valeria, and hi to everybody. It's a great honor for me to be here representing the Turin Chamber of... I'm sorry, but I hear the translation on the...
Okay, we hear you anyway. We don't hear the translation, so you can...
Ok, proviamo a fare così. Facciamo così. Thank you very much. I hope that you can hear me well, since I have some problems with my ears. I was saying thank you, Valeria. It's a great pleasure to be here, representing also the network of the committees that joined our projects. For us, we strongly believe on the power of network. As committees, it is clear to us how necessary it is to work and expand networks at both local, regional, national, and international levels. Teams, like you said before, teams like as training, guidance, orientation, credit, as Ms. Brancaccio just said, reskilling, leadership, empowerment, new organizational model of work and business, an issue that finds space in debate not only locally but internationally. So it's very important to have a meeting as important as the one that you are having and hosting in these 3 days of work. Actually, on the last round table, I heard from many friends a lot of very interesting, good stories and initiatives that, from our point of view, have to be spread and disseminated. We need to grow synergies on different projects and find a way to influence and be more effective on the real world and the real economy. And we strongly believe that to make an effective impact, we have to be where policies are decided, to talk with correct policymakers, and we need to demonstrate that we have that we can do the difference. So that's why we really, for us, it's really important to be here today. For example, and I'm sorry, but sometimes I have to be critical. It is a shame that in the New Skill Fund, so il Fondo Nuove Competenze in Italian, there were no bonuses for specific reskilling of women. So we hope it's not a missed opportunity, and we hope that there can be there is still room to act in this sense. As I said before, it is really important to be present on a local, European, and international level. That's why for us it's very important to participate both as committees and in particular as the Committee of Torino to the works of Eurochambre Women Network and to see and to work with WeGate, that is the European portal to share initiative and projects. On the other side, we also joined the project Women 2027 that is started by an initiative that is called Donne si fa storia with Union Camere Lombardia, Union Camere Veneto, Piemonte, and now is joined also by Union Camere, National Union Camere, that aims to bring women entrepreneurs closer to European programs in order to make more use of relative funds. Because as we just said a small time before, we have some problems with finance. So very good to be part of projects that can enforce us in this way. And finally, as Torino, we also are planning to host the initiative called IWEC Foundation in 2022, and we hope that you can all join us in case it will be hosted by Torino. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cristina. Now I leave the floor to Marza Majorano, who is president of the Committee for Women in Entrepreneurship in Milan and in the Lombardy network of committees.
Hi, good afternoon to all participants. For inviting me, I represent Milan and Lombard Committee. My job is to explain our vision. Our vision is clear and shared. The main focus is building the woman's economic identity. The economic identity means empower female leadership and support the development of new strategies to have a good impact on our economy. We aspire to a new role in an innovative and sustainable global market. We all know women have been at first to balance work and life, the first to collide with the weakening of their abilities. Today again, women are paid less than men. Despite these unfavorable conditions, women represent the safe asset for our communities and our economy, the most relevant resilience center to face ordinary and extraordinary difficulties. For years, women have built an ecosystem of trust to support the evolution of society. In the meantime, our committees have created a real and concrete visible network, a wealth of experiences and sensitivity with a common goal, the promotion of female entrepreneurship for over 20 years. Consequently, the number of women's companies is growing, contributing to economic development with jobs and new businesses. For these reasons, it's necessary to include their participation with all the required policies to legitimize their talent and ambition, considering the positive impact of their presence in the economy. They have always contributed positively to the development. Think about it. Where there was no vision, they have built a road and shared values. Where there was misalignment, they have clarified the objectives, structures, implemented new processes to foster a culture of development. Where there was delegitimation, they are focused on the legitimacy of individuals, groups, and weaker categories. Support the development of entrepreneurship feminine is a clear message that inclusion is an ethical and economic value. For all of these, the committees have a common strategy to be ready to play their part in economic complex scenario, but not impossible to evolve towards a better future. The universe of skills and talents female is helpful for the innovative development and the relaunch of our countries. The numbers show us companies led by women who prove to be more socially responsible, more attentive to environmental sustainability, and therefore have great potential in terms of impact on our society. Also, facilitates access to STEM disciplines for women is another fundamental point. The period we are experiencing requires that all the best intelligence contributes to the world view, women included. We cannot allow such a significant and qualifying part of energies to continue remain unspoken. Instead, we must work to ensure that women will be a part of the restart, from a center of resilience to a center of disruptive leadership, capable of building and evolving business models and more. Therefore, women can no longer postpone recognizing their own economic identity. It's not just an ethical question, but the tangible impact that this could have on the relaunch of countries. Our committees work jointly on two fundamental paths. The first, gender equality, is an inclusive and transversal mission. The second, the same importance about the first, the economic identity of women, is a mission for the competitiveness of our countries and the building a new future we deserve. Thank you so much.
Grazie Marzia.
Thank you, Marta. Now, I would say that to have the possibility to get to know better the committees, we would have liked to have them all here represented today. We are all in Italian provinces. We are many with their affection. It would be also pleasant to us to have them here personally. It was not possible. We hope we represented them. And working jointly, we can have a tomorrow where we will no longer talk about gender competencies, but real competencies. Thank you to everyone.